I have found over the years I've been fortunate to, at certain times, have a incredible group of people around me that I could call a great friend. And there were so many levels on which they could inspire you, and vice versa. And it was also fun to, you have, let's say your friend's name's Joe, okay, and you got another one called Steve, and you think, you know what, I think these two guys would also get along, and you introduce them, and then you find that you're right, and all of a sudden it's like they're friends, and which is a wonderful thing. Even if you pull yourself out of the situation, you've just created a great synergy with two people. But I've been very fortunate to have had that. But at the same time, through life, I'm not 20 years old anymore. And as you mentioned, we lose a lot of people. And some people grow out of your life, even though at some point they were in it, or that's the way that it is. So I find, at least for myself right now, that it is a real challenge finding a handful of people, because I have great friends. A lot of them are a little older than me, and they're already looking at retiring, where I'm still want to go 100 miles an hour. And it's, even though you love them and you want to be with them, they're not inspiring like they used to be, because they don't care. And I don't blame them. They're like, hey, I'm done, man. What would you say are some of the biggest challenges you faced as a dealer that, in using the theory of five, has helped you overcome them?
Well, I've been in business since 1984. And we've had so many challenges. There's a challenge every day that happens, but
right.
You've had the financial crisis. You have too much inventory. You have too little inventory. You have a tough franchise. It's challenging to hire people. The best part about the auto industry, and what I love about it, is there's always somebody that has the same type of franchise or has the same type of challenge you have that has overcome it, and they're willing to share that with you. And this is such a wonderful industry that people are willing to share their ideas and share how they have overcome it, or people that have been in this longer than you that said, hey, listen, when this happened to me, here's how I handled it. So I just find the auto industry is a natural for the theory of five. It's a natural to find good people. It's, as you mentioned before, that when I was younger, I could find people that were older than me, willing to share their experience and teach and guide and coach me on how to get better in different areas, as long as you ask and you have the confidence to ask them, and then you actually do what they say. I find that if you don't do what they're asking you to do, or when they're challenging you, they don't want to waste their time with you anymore. And as I'm getting older, I realized I could find young people to help coach and mentor, but more importantly, I find that some of the younger folks are really good with technology and great with digital, and they're willing to help you and guide you in different areas. So this is such a wonderful industry that almost any challenge that happens, being that right now a lot of people are having a tough time with inventory, not enough inventory, there's somebody saying, okay, now here's how we handled fixed operations to bring revenue in. Here's how we handled used cars. Here's how we're pricing our used cars. Here's what we're doing with our sales consultants to make sure we could hire people in a challenging franchise that you would have.
Very true. I think, like anything, you see it enough times, you learn. I've been in this business not as long as you, but close. And one of the things in most cases, especially if you're in the Northeast, is, January, I used to say, you could just close up, leave the service department open, and you won't lose as much money. It was not how much you made in January, it's how much you lost, especially if it was, because first 2 weeks of January, I don't care where you are, nobody wants to move, right? Mm-hmm. It's dead. And then even the last 2 weeks, they're just tough, because if people are still get moving again, and if you're anywhere where there's cold and ice and snow, nobody wants to move, But if you have never seen that before, and you're like expecting it, and you're like, someone been in it for a while says, yeah, this is January, and I've shared this with a lot of dealers. I go, they would say, I lost this much. Why just close? I mean, seriously, tell everybody, go on vacation for a month, pay them. You won't lose as much money as you lost being open. Now, that's not always the case, but it's an example of the same thing you're talking about. How have you used the theory of 5 to improve the environment in your dealerships, and in that also hopefully increasing sales?
Well, one of the beliefs that we have within our company is that, you've heard people say this: leave work at work and home. And we understand that that's, next to impossible.
Right.
And if you despise your job, your family knows it. And if you're having a really challenging personal life, we see it at work. So, we actually have a class that we taught on the theory of 5. It was a 90-minute class that we walked people through, and we shared with them that the reason we're sharing this with you is because we believe that, we would love everybody to retire with the Kelly Automotive Group. More importantly, we want them to have a happy and prosperous life. So we walked them through the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people in your personal and your professional life. That people will treat you the way you allow them to treat you. And if you allow somebody to neg you out in your personal life or your professional life, they will, and they will keep feeding you negative information. And sometimes you have to give the hand. We talk about why it's so important to have a balanced life or clarity in your life in the 5 areas, because you could have a great business and you can be making a lot of money. But if your personal life and your children are suffering, or your relationship with your spouse is suffering, what is the money worth? So you're making a good living, but you have a family. You don't have a family that's around. So we let them know that you have to have some harmony. And what does harmony mean to you and me? May be completely different. Maybe harmony is balance for some people. Maybe harmony to some people is, listen, I want to be more time with my children, or more time, or it's health or fitness. But you have to define what that means to you to make sure that you're happy and prosperous, because we are big believers when we teach the theory of 5 is that, if you don't take care of yourself first, if you're not happy and prosperous, it's tough to take care of the people that you love most.
Please go to part 3 of the Theory of 5 author Chris Saraceno on It's the Car Business.